Today we're having a charla with Walter Suhr, founder, band leader of Mango Punch, as a part of the Hispanic Heritage Appreciation Month. Mango Punch is a six-time winner in the Houston Press Music Awards and has received praise for the press of the energy, their performances, and the quality of their recorded original music. Welcome, Walter.
Thank you for inviting us.
So today, I'd like to chat with you about your creative process and how, when you're performing a song or when you're writing a song, I just kind of want to know a little bit more about how that process goes. But before we get into that, can you tell us more about how you came up with the name Mango Punch?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, from the very beginning, I did not want to be labeled as either just a Latin band or an American band. We wanted to be a crossover and try to integrate cultures as much as possible. So we chose a name. We actually thought of choosing a name that had one word in Spanish and one in English that both cultures could understand. And with my manager and partner in life at the time, Susanna, we started throwing ideas, and when we came up with Mango Punch, not only had it had the concept of crossover, but also of the connotation of like tropical drink or the beach, and so it made it fun, so the name has really worked for us.
Yeah, I agree. I think the name is great, and I think it's a really catchy name, and it, like you said, it combines with both languages, right? So, can you tell me more? What got you into music?
Well, I've always loved music. There is this one anecdote at home that, my first Christmas, I was 11 months old, and, they gave me the regular things you give a baby for Christmas, teddy bears and such. But my grandmother decided to give me some records. She gave me 3 records, and they said that I actually went to sleep with the records. I mean, I love music so much. So, I loved it the whole time, although I never considered it a career because you've always heard of the starving artist and how difficult it was going to be. And but when I came to college and I realized I did not want to regret later not having tried it. So I decided to try it, and fortunately it really worked out for me.
That's awesome. That's really good. I have another question. Do you still have those 3 records?
Maybe not those exact 3, but if you look over there, there's a lot of records that I do have.
Nice. How do you feel about the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the music business?
Well, incredible, although we hear mostly about the devastation and the negative aspects, and of course there has been a very direct negative aspect to music. But at the same time, for if all of a sudden you had more time, and having more time meant being able to learn things that you had been postponing, and if the phone wasn't ringing, then there was an opportunity to do things. So I actually, right at the beginning of the pandemic, that very first month in March, I wrote a song called Te han regalado tiempo, which means you've been given the gift of time. And I've tried to make the best of it. So of course, many negative aspects, economically for sure, for many of us, but some positive things have come out of it as well.
So you're going to be performing a song called "Life Is Good." I'm very interested to hear it and see how to hear more about the song. I really want to hear you perform it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to play it right now. Life is good. With its ups and downs, you have to know that it's still flowing like it should. And it's up to you to do your best to keep things growing now. Now is the only time when you can make things happen. Now is the only time you really have to make things happen. Look now, it's a new day coming, a new reminder that life is good. Wake up, it's a new is all you need, and all the world can use your love right now. Now is the only time when you can make things happen. Now is the only time you really have to make things happen. Look now, it's a new day coming, a new reminder that life is good. Wake up, it's a new day coming. Look around and notice all the things you have that make it so good. Look now, it's a new day coming, a new reminder that life is good. Wake up, it's a new day coming. Look around and notice all the things you have that make it so good. Look now, it's a new day coming, a new reminder that life is good. Wake up, it's a new day coming. Look around and notice all the things you have that make it so good.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you for that. What inspired you to write the song Life is Good?
In general, we have 6 CDs of original music, and as a general rule, I try to write songs that are positive. I think, everybody has hardship in life, and music is one of those things that can uplift you. So I choose to have my music be a vehicle to, try to bring a positive and deliver that. And Life is Good really reflects a lot of thoughts of how I feel about things, particularly the fact that we have to seize the day, carpe diem, try to do the best with what we have right now.
I agree with you. I think this song is very uplifting. I really enjoyed the whole flow of the song and even the way it sounds creatively. So thank you for that. Do you think you can get any better as a musician?
Yes, absolutely. And I think all musicians would probably say the same thing. Even people that I deeply admire and respect, they always feel like they can do better. Music is such a huge universe that there's always more to learn and more that you can get better. And it's a very enjoyable process. One of the reasons why I chose music as my profession is I thought, even later in life, it can actually be a hobby if you enjoy it so much, and it is. Sometimes I will play just for fun. So that's what music does.
Excellent. Well, I think you're a great musician, and I really enjoy your performances and your music. So I think it's awesome. Thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
So when for the creative process, when you're writing a song, what comes first, the lyrics or the music?
Well, there really is no pattern. Creativity can strike you in very many different ways. So, sometimes I will have written the lyrics before I even have a melody. Sometimes it's the other way around that, you have a melody and then you put words to it. Life is Good was one of those. Sometimes Paul McCartney has said that in a couple of interviews. Sometimes you start singing gibberish lyrics, but the melody's good and you like it, and then you replace it with something that has some meaning. And then there's rare occasions in which they both come together at the same time, and that is a lovely process when it does, but it's not always.
I agree. So this next song that you're performing is called Tú Eres Tú.
Tú eres tú, yo soy yo, pero qué bien nos la llevamos en el amor. Tú eres tú, yo soy yo, y estando juntos lo pasamos de lo mejor. Si a ti te gusta la playa, yo voy contigo al mar. Si a mí me gusta ir a las montañas, sé que me vas a acompañar. Y no importa si tú decidiste o si es algo que quise hacer yo, lo que importa es lo que disfrutamos cada vez que estamos juntos tú y yo. Tú eres tú, yo soy yo, pero qué bien nos la llevamos en el amor. Tú eres tú, yo soy yo, y estando juntos lo pasamos de lo mejor. Tú me acompañas al cine a ver películas de acción. Yo me he sentado a tu lado a ver una novela de amor. Y no importa si tú decidiste o si es algo que quise hacer yo, lo que importa es cómo nos gozamos cada vez que estamos juntos tú y yo. Tú eres tú, yo soy yo, pero qué bien nos la llevamos en el amor. Tú eres tú, yo soy yo, y estando juntos lo pasamos de lo mejor. Oh, yeah. La 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 la. Oh, yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Thank you for that song. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed the beat and the words. Everything was really nice. What was your creative process when you were writing Tu Eres Tú?
well, for one thing, one of the rhythms that seems to be very pervasive right now in our culture is bachata, and I particularly like the side of bachata that is more oriented towards pop. So I would consider Tu Eres Tú a bachata pop,
Mhm.
and the song itself is a very true song to me because we wrote it with Susanna, and uh, and I think as human beings we are so complex. We have so many likes, dislikes, we have so many opinions that there's going to be no perfect match. But if you learn to respect the other person and you really love being with that person, you can learn to accept the differences and hopefully be accepted yourself. So that's what the song is about.
Beautiful. So, what is your favorite song to perform?
That is definitely a very hard question because for one thing, if you looked at my record collection, you would certainly think I'm schizophrenic, uh, because I love all sorts of music in all different genres. And but performing live is about communicating with people and making people move and make people happy. So normally I like songs that are very dance oriented and that people know and they have a good time. So I couldn't tell you that I have a specific song, but I just love music in general.
Would you say is the flow of the crowd? And if so, do you ever have like stage fright or any of that?
Yes, stage fright still comes. If you care enough, if you want to really give a good performance, you always want to be the best you can be, and so it still happens. Yes, particularly in a concert type of situation when people are actually coming to just listen, and we have had that kind of concert before, and it's a favorite thing. But once you have people's undivided attention, it's certainly a little nerve wracking. Let me tell you, I mean, one of the most difficult things was actually singing the national anthem for a Texans
Oh,
game.
wow.
That was certainly nerve wracking when 30,000 people are quiet and then off you go. Uh,
That was nerve-wracking.
yeah, it happens.
Well, I'm gonna have to get some tips from you as far for stage fright because I need some tips on that.
All right, I'll help.
So, if you can have your fans remember one thing about you, what would it be?
Well, of course, I'd like to think that we have made people happy at when we've performed at corporate events or a wedding, and that people will remember having a good time. But of course, the thing that I would most like people to remember me for is the original music. I'm a songwriter as well as a performer, and I take particular pride in the original music. So. um I I would like people to invite people, and we are pretty much in every platform. People can find us on in Spotify, Pandora, Deezer, YouTube. As a matter of fact, YouTube is a good source to listen to our music because we have also live performance videos. So if they go to youtube.com/mango punch, they could find us there. Of course, if they want to know more and want to stay abreast of where we're performing, they can also go to our website, mangopunch.com.
Excellent. So you're going to be performing this next song is called Biensac. Can you just give us a brief on your process or what made you come up with the song, the creative process of it?
Human being right now is actually, saving our planet. And the song, Piensa, is just delivering a message that we really need to think and we cannot wait any longer. We need to all be doing our part, even if it implies sacrifice. The song says, not everything is easy. Don't choose the easiest path, but the one that is that has the most longevity. Nuestro planeta está sufriendo y tú también estás contribuyendo. Con cada botella al olvido que le tiras, le añades una púa a su corona de espinas. ¿No ves que se está haciendo corto el invierno? No vuelvas nuestro paraíso un infierno. Si eres indiferente, te añades a esa gente que está matando al que nos da vida. Ay, piensa en las consecuencias, piensa en la diferencia que podrías hacer. Ya no hay tiempo para perder y piensa, no todo es conveniencia, piensa, hay que tener conciencia de lo que va a pasar. Ya no hay tiempo para esperar, no. Nuestro planeta está enfermando y tú lo ves y no estás ayudando. Si no están haciendo nada tus hermanos, no seas tú el Pilatos que se lava las manos. No ves que se está haciendo corto el invierno. No vuelvas nuestro paraíso un infierno. Si eres indiferente, te añades a esa gente que está matando al que nos da vida. Ay, piensa en las consecuencias, piensa en la diferencia que podrías hacer. Ya no hay tiempo para perder y piensa, no todo es conveniencia, piensa, hay que tener conciencia de lo que va a pasar. Ya no hay tiempo para esperar, no. Piensa, hay que tener conciencia. Piensa, hay que tener conciencia. Piensa, 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 hay que tener conciencia. Piensa en tus hijos, piensa en tus nietos, piensa en lo que le dejas a ellos. Piensa, 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 hay que tener conciencia. Las cosas no van a mejorar jamás si lo único que piensas es cansar a los demás.
Well, I really enjoyed the lyrics to that song and the whole performance of it. Thank you so much for that. So, do you have any upcoming shows or anything that you want to talk to us about?
Well, of course, right now we don't have any performances open to the public, but we did record recently a performance in Sugar Land, Texas, and it's going to be streaming live sometime in the end of September. We don't have the exact date yet. So if people are interested, we would urge them to sign our mailing list. They could do that on our website, or they could give us a like on Facebook. But definitely reach out so that we can keep you posted. And we're proud of that performance. It's the full band, and I think it's going to sound good, and it's going to make a few feet move at home.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. So next we have a short clip that talks about voting. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What your thought process was for it, and I guess just kind of walk us through your creative way of expressing yourself for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is another thing that I think is crucial and very important. Voting is a right. And sometimes in our day and age, there are people who are still not aware of how much sacrifice some people have gone through in centuries past to give us this right and this privilege. I mean, just in the last century, Susan B. Anthony fighting so strongly for the right to have women vote.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this privilege, and sometimes we are not aware of it, and we need to use it because, we cannot let elections or our future be decided by somebody else or by abstaining from voting. Let's make our voice heard, whatever our thoughts are on the process.
I completely agree with you. So people go vote.
Dejarías que el vecino tomara tus decisiones. Le darías el poder de decidir tus acciones. Pues al dejar de votar, eso es lo que estás haciendo. Dejas que otros te gobiernen y no estás decidiendo. Hay que votar, hay que votar.
Thank you so much for your time today, Walter. I really enjoyed talking to you, and I hope we could do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thank you for the invitation. It's a privilege.
So anyone in the audience who has questions for Walter, feel free to ask. You can either type them and Walter will be responding to you directly. So if you have any questions, feel free to add them in the chat.